Let's start our session. I'm happy to welcome at this business dialogue Russia Qatar as organized by Business Russia as part of the 15th Business Forum, Qatar Forum 2024. My name is Alexander Rutler, and I'm a member of the General Council of Energotransparent and Business Russia. Before we proceed with the discussion itself, I'd like to emphasize a couple of organization issues. First and foremost, the timeline. We're pressed to time by the organizers. I urge each and every one speaker to limit your speech to 5 minutes. I hope this discussion will be dynamic, and upon completion of this session, I hope all the members, all the participants will learn about the practical ways of fostering business between Russia and Qatar. So all of the organizational issues have been discussed already, have been highlighted. I think we can proceed. With the ever-changing economic and political situation in the world, Russo-Qatar relations have been quite successful and have been developing at a fast pace. As of today, the investment of Qatar into the Russian economy account for tens of billions of US dollars, and the trade turnover between the countries, the direct turnover, according to the statistics, has been growing, and it's however, it's still in relatively low level. So here, there's a lot of room for mutual activity, for bilateral relations. Russia and Qatar have a lot of joint projects in the pipeline, and our potential in this light is much higher than the official numbers, especially of special interest are agriculture, transport, logistics, the development of R&D, as well as financial cooperation. Following in this trend of fostering economic and relations, we have jointly, in a short period of time, succeeded, managed to do a lot. And like I said, this is not the optimal result, so we can achieve more. I would like to give the floor now to our distinguished guest from Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Sukim Al-Thani. I know that you're here for the first time. This is your first time in Russia, and I know that this is a kind of a discovery for you, this first trip, and we're more than welcome to see you here at this forum. And I would like you to give a brief overview of your country, and maybe you could talk more about the possibilities for our cooperation, and in general, I would like you to share your view on the future developments of our relations, bilateral relations. The floor is yours. I would first like to express my gratitude with the Almighty Lord's blessing. I would like to initially express my gratitude to the highly distinguished President of the Russian Federation, Mr. Vladimir Putin. I would like to thank him and we congratulate him on his successful victory in the presidential elections. And I would like to also express my gratitude to His Excellency President Rustam Menikhanov. And I also would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Anton Kubiakov for organizing this conference, this forum, which exhibits a number of leading Qatari Arab and Islamic organizations. Dear ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important venue because cooperation between Russia and the Islamic world and the development of joint commercial, economic, scientific, technical, social, and cultural ties between the Russian Federation and the Islamic world is, of course, very important. It's extremely important to sustain and develop these relations via the Islamic instruments and banks that work in the territory of the Russian Federation. Dear ladies and gentlemen, our country has always been striving to collaborate and to develop the infrastructure of the country where we invest, and of course these are the investments in advanced technologies, the development of advanced technologies, new technologies, and of course we should say that Islam, the Qatari institutions invest a lot in this sphere, in this area, and I urge you and invite you, all of the representatives of the Russian Federation, to set up, to open up Qatar for yourself in order to increase and further develop interaction and cooperation via various projects, investment projects, economic projects, and I think this will foster both the global economy as well as, of course, the economy of our both countries. And not just as part of the countries, but also as part of the regional, in light of regional cooperation. And of course, despite these major changes and shifts in the global economy, we see this stable cooperation. And of course, 2024, back in 2020, 2021, 2022, we have managed to achieve a lot with 5 billion rubles that were invested in technology and agriculture. And of course, over the past years, Qatar has been successful in achieving success. Despite the overall economic slowdown, Qatar manages to sustain a high pace of growth. And so all of our plans should be executed, should be turned into reality, and therefore it is important for us to cooperate between our countries, between Qatar and Russia. And of course, when it comes to business and technology in this area, we should develop our cooperation. And our Ministry of Foreign Affairs of our country mentioned the billions of dollars that our country invests in Russia and Tatarstan in particular. And of course, we always care about the development of cooperation and the dialogue, which would benefit both our country and the communities in both of our countries. So we create all the conditions to make sure that our young specialists, our young experts, have the opportunities to create, to form, to establish new projects which will benefit the overall economy of our countries, as well as advanced technologies in the engineering and manufacturing area. I suggest that we further expand in this area, and I invite all of you to do so. And at the end, in conclusion, I would like to say that the discussions at such a forum is a great chance to network, to exchange in our experiences, our expertise, and to not only do so, but also share the experience, the global experience, not just the Russian or Qatari experience. So this forum in Kazan, I'm sure, will help achieve these ambitions, inshallah. Your Excellency, I thank you for this. Let me thank you for this address. Oh, you're welcome. I do hope that in future we will continue our highly efficient cooperation, which will help foster and further increase the cooperation level. And I would like to, in turn, say that economic prosperity of a nation is always tightly correlated with the nation's readiness to deal with the external world, with the outside world. In Qatar, they understand this extremely well, as they do in Russia, especially under the current economic reality. In the current reality, and in this light, it would be very interesting to learn the opinion as far as the bilateral, the trends in the bilateral cooperation between Russia and Qatar. And I would like to hear the opinion of a representative of the Russian Trading Federation. I would like to give the floor to dear Mr. Altani, dear Alexander. Thank you very much for this invitation to speak at this session. Qatar, for us, is a very important partner. We have built trusted relations with this country, and we've been cooperating with this nation for many years. I'd like to talk about the growth points. Obviously, we talk about expansion and further development of trading relations. Like you said, they're still at relatively low numbers as per 2023 numbers. The numbers are $91 million US. The same relates to the turnover in terms of trades, services, and products. We see 7.5% growth year on year, which is not a significant number. It's a bit less than 52 million USD. Based on prior experience of cooperation with Qatar and based on our experience with collaboration with other regions of Gulf region, we understand that we can grow these numbers substantially by manyfold. And I think we should focus there. Another growth point is, of course, in the investments. We look at Qatar as an important investment partner, especially considering that we have regulatory framework in place. We have a bilateral agreement on the protection of capital investments, which guarantee investor stability and investor insurance. We have practical experience, hands-on experience based on what you've mentioned as well. We have successful projects in place in the area of manufacturing, transport infrastructure, trading. We see successful investments in the pharma industry, in the medical, healthcare industry, and IT, and we definitely aim to continue growing in this area. The third growth point is transport logistics. Russia has been actively working on the development of transport corridors lately, and last year and this year we talked a lot about the development of the transport corridor of north-south one. But it's not just Irani road construction in Iran. In Iran, it also counts for over 100 projects to be executed by 2030. So in this light, we also look at the logistics corridors to Asia and Africa. And here we invite our Qatari partners to take part in this partnership. We also see ample opportunities in agriculture. Over the past 3 years, exports of agricultural products to Qatar grew threefold in physical terms, and we realize that the Russian manufacturers have been ever more active and efficient in applying the best practices of Qatar. Here at Kazan Forum, we have a standalone halal expo. We work tightly with the Islamic cooperation experts, representatives in terms of the technical regulations. This is a growth point where we see high potential. Number 5 is climatic. Is a climatic area. We're similar to Qatar in the sense that we work on the agenda of in terms of the zero emissions objective. And from this standpoint, we see that nuclear technology is important. Hydrogen technologies are also quite it's an important trend because we can share our expertise because we are the world leaders, global leaders in these areas, and we believe there are synergies in this area, which could be of interest to both Russia and Qatar. Another great growth point is tourism. Based on 2023 data, Russian citizens made 89 tourist trips to Qatar. And unfortunately, when it comes to the reverse numbers, they are quite low, substantially lower. So we see opportunity for growth in this area, and we work a lot in terms of making the stay of our Qatari guests more comfortable. And we will be implementing the so-called tourist maps, and we will be working definitely on the so-called halal tourism in order to make sure that our Qatari guests and tourists feel comfortable as they can in the Russian Federation. I believe these are some of the key growth points that we have been working on and will be working on with our partners. And generally speaking, we don't have a lot of time. So each of these areas deserve a lot more time. But in short, in brief, this is what I wanted to highlight. Thank you, Pavel, for your speech. As moderator, I would like to ask you a question that I'm worried about, I'm interested in, and I believe our Qatari investors are also interested in. You mentioned that you view Qatar as an important investment partner when it comes to joint projects. Please tell me which support measures exist in our country and what can investors look for and what can they rely on. When it comes to the investment climate, we work a lot to improve our investment climate in Russia, and there is a tool set which is quite diverse. This includes special economic zones, advanced economic zones in the Russian Far East, the zones that offer transparent and explicit tax regime with tax breaks, with the support of investor support when it comes to alleviation of administrative procedures, capital investment protection, which guarantees long-term. It's a long-term guarantee regime whereby investor can be sure that whenever they enter, they can forecast how their business will grow and evolve, and they have a guaranteed framework for doing business in Russia. There's also another support measure that we have been promoting is a PPP, i.e. public-private partnership concessions, whereby we create quality public infrastructure with private investment, with very transparent and clear terms of return of investment. In 2023, we approved the priority area for the strengthening of the technological sovereignty of the Russian Federation and the structural adaptation of our economy, and when it comes to projects that contribute to technological advancement, we offer a lot of support measures, very flexible measures, and oftentimes they are given special priority. And so under the guarantee of the government, we have been working on a weekly basis with our colleagues, and we've been supporting these projects. Of course, we have another support measure, government support measure, called Intergovernmental Committee, that discusses some systemic issues for the cooperation of the two countries. Unfortunately, we've not been convening this for the past 4 years due to the restructuring in our government with the formation of the new Russian government. But I'm sure with this new government in place, we'll be able to restore this practice.
Thank you very much, Pavel. You shared some very useful information with us. And from my side, I can safely say, not as a moderator, but as an entrepreneur working in Qatar, I would say that our Qatari colleagues are very careful in everything that concerns investments in the good sense of the word. Speaking otherwise, in order to start business in Qatar and in neighboring countries of the Gulf, you will have to be Let me put it this way. You have to be a top professional of your business, and you have to know perfectly well what you want to achieve and in what way you want to achieve this. And you have to be calculating your every step, and you have to be looking at all the good and bad case scenarios when you are creating your project from scratch, especially if that project is at the early stages of financing. Nevertheless, from what I see, Qatar is very much interested in attracting investments, especially if this is science-intensive investments. And Qatar is ready to provide some conditions for the Russian business to enter Qatar. With this in mind, I would like to with this, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Ben Bodi. What makes Qatar so attractive for attracting business in the country, and what are the prospects?
Thank you very much for the invitation. We are very keen Qatar Financial to make sure that business entities, when they want to do business in Qatar, either through JV or through partnership or through direct investment, to give them the correct platform. As I mentioned, the Qatar Financial Center provides Russian businesses with unparalleled access to Qatar vibrant and growing market. The access extends across diverse sectors such as finance, energy, infrastructure, and technology, offering the Russian firms opportunities to tap into this high growth area and diverse their new teams. The Qatar strategic location as a gateway to the Middle East and North Africa and beyond the market makes the QFC as an ideal platform for Russian businesses to establish regional presence in Qatar. I mean, positioned as the crossroad between East and West, the QFC enables Russian firms to explore opportunities for trade, for investment, and partnership with neighboring regions, enhancing their market reach and strategic position. Qatar is increasingly focused on promoting innovation, and as His Excellency Chef explained, the Qatar is focused on promoting innovation and technology-driven growth across various sectors. The Russian businesses can leverage the QFC ecosystem to access the cutting-edge technologies and innovation hubs, enabling them to stay in the curve of respective industries. As you might know, as we are discussing this very honorable Kazan Forum, the Qatar is being a prominent hub for Islamic finance, offering Russian businesses a unique opportunity to participate in this growing sector through the QFC. With its specialized Islamic finance service expertise and also structures, the QFC will enable Russian firms to tap into Sharia-compliant banking, sukuk issuance, Islamic investment funds, and takaful insurance, and making it as a diversification portfolio and offering attractive broader investment base. The QFC offers a highly conducive business environment characterized with streamlined regulation, attractive incentives, robust infrastructure for top-notch services. Essentially, the QFC serves as a facilitator for Russian businesses seeking to establish presence in Qatar by providing access to the new market, forming a strategic partnership, and leveraging its diverse range of service advantages. The QFC empowers Russian firms to thrive in the Qatar competitive business and landscape and beyond. Thank you.
Благодарю вас за выступление.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I think that for this information would be very useful for many of our listeners from our audience. The financial center of Qatar, which you represent, probably will become one of the most important and interesting platforms for the representatives of Russian business. As far as the regional development is concerned, and as far as the country development is concerned, the experience of Rus Hydro Group is extremely interesting. Rus Hydro is a large Russian company, and project institutions of this company are very well known in the half of the globe. The results of the activity of this company are some of the largest scale projects, such as the hydropower plants in Aswan in Egypt, Dakan, Hadida hydropower plants, Derbendihan in Iraq, the Euphrates hydro complex in Syria, and some others. However, in the current perspective, such projects are either suspended or not implemented in their proper scale. So I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, Mr. Sergei Machechin, Deputy General Director of Roshydro, who is responsible for project engineering, sustainable development, and international cooperation. My question to you, Sergei, is as follows. What can Roshydro offer as far as the Russian and Qatari cooperation is concerned, and what is the company's experience? Thank you very much for the possibility of speaking. I would like to welcome His Excellency the Sheikh, and I would like to thank the presenters. I will give only the brief information about the company. In order to tell you and to answer the question of our respected moderator as to in which sectors of economy we would be able to find points of cooperation, I would like to ask you to look at the slide. Roshydro is indeed a diversified company, and I would like to make a slight correction to the words of our distinguished moderator. Despite the current geopolitical situation and despite the extremely complicated political landscape, we have not suspended not a single project. We have started up several new contracts, but I would say that I fully agree with our moderator that our full potential is not yet unlocked. Our company currently offers a unique set of competences. There are 5 engineering companies in our subholding. They are engaged in developing all solutions concerning water and energy. It is 2,500 people. The total headcount in the company is 72,000 people. But I would like to draw your attention to the top line in the on the slide. We have unique spheres of activity in water use, in hydro energy. We deliver sustainable water use in residential holdings, projects in nuclear power, projects in liquefied natural gas production and processing, projects in the sphere of passive microseismics, which enables us to do 4D modeling of the structure of the Earth's surface in order to produce hydrocarbons and concentrated ore bodies at a depth of 42 kilometers. However, whoever tells you that this is a widespread technology, I will argue that point. And I would say that we are the only holders of this technology in the world. Then we have geothermal energy and electric grid facilities. The company's turnover last year was 23 billion 23 billion Qatari reals, which is approximately 6.2 billion US dollars. Of course, there is we have much room to grow, and we are the largest energy company in the country. 72,000 carbon units is one of the things that we are especially proud of. We are decreasing anthropogenic load on CO2 emissions. We were one of the first companies in the country to switch from coal to natural gas. So I'm giving a all right, next slide, please. You all know that everything that I'm saying are elements of state strategy. It's external economic strategy, which are based on our long-term historical connections and friendly and partner communications. The president of the country gives much attention to these questions. And on the forum Russia-Africa, we had a lot of important events. And I am honored to invite our international partners to join such events. And I invite our guests to find the time, and we will organize the visit to some of our energy facilities. I assure you that you will fall in love in the things that we do. We have some facilities which operate at minus 55 degrees centigrade, for example. A slide which confirms Alexander's words that we are working quite actively in the area. Starting in last century, we've been present in 55 countries. We have implemented more than 400 projects. Currently, we are operating in 14 countries, and we have already signed up one more contract. Therefore, we are running 34 projects at the moment. The total installed power is 90 gigawatts. The entire installed power in the country is 250 gigawatts. Of course, we have a huge potential from the viewpoint of water use, and I will give you a couple of proposals, not as investments, as people usually do, not as tasks for many years to come, but something that can be done quite quickly. It is the recreation of Qatari R&D centers, which would work using the experience of Russian engineering to create the National Engineering School in Qatar. It will be done in such important segments as responsible water use, i.e., using the most valuable resource, the most important resource on the planet, and that is the water, and use the most important possibilities of energy use in the country. Water and energy backbone of the country, with projects addressing a perspective of 10 years ahead. In this way, we will be able to work with the surface waters, subsurface waters, and facilities for desalinating the water. The best pure water is done for the people. We do everything for our future, for our children. Point number 2 is the agricultural complex. The surface waters can be purified to develop the agricultural sector in Qatar. And point number 3 is the desalination of water for industrial use. And the most important thing that I would like to mention here, our task is to develop national competence centers which you consider strategic. We are able to share more than 100 years experience of our company but we would make it a point that we are speaking about national centers of competence in Qatar, in their cascading of their experience and cascading of their projects onto neighboring countries. Next point is the joint participation in third countries. Today we are working in Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, in Kyrgyzia, and I know that your country has some very good experience in working in these countries. Here we can find probably the best of solutions. Your possibilities, your opportunities, and our skill and experience would enable us to bring to these countries some work for energy. Next point is sustainable development. Within the next months, I'm going to visit Qatar at the invitation of Qatar Carbon Stock Exchange, whom I met in Dubai. And the project of trading carbon tokens would be another point to continue our discussion. I will be glad to answer any of your questions on the fields of the forum. Well, there is one more point which I would like to ask you about as an additional question. Here, right before our eyes, we see that the weather is changing. Last year, I was visiting His Excellency the Sheikh, and he said at 40 degrees in the shade, he said, "Please do not forget your umbrella next day." I had a laugh, but next morning it was raining cats and dogs, and our car was made well deep in water when we were moving. What concerns these countries, the Gulf countries, they are not ready to such fluctuations of the weather, and we can see that perfectly well. Does Russia have anything to offer to manage the climatic changes? Well, not climatic changes per se, but external waters. We cannot agree with the Almighty that He start or stop the rain, but we can find it possible to forecast the drastic, the catastrophic changes and their unexpected emergence. Just a month ago in UAE, cars were filled up to the brim with rainwater. Surface water is a very specific term. It includes all kinds of water that is on the surface of the earth, snow, water, surface waters. Of course, we have experience of working with this resource. In the Sultanate of Oman, this model of managing the surface stocks has been long developed and implemented. They are building small hub water preserves, and we would be able to help them create a diversified distributed grid of such water preserves, depending on what kind of water is needed where it be related to industrial infrastructure, and so on and so forth. You know that water is a strategic resource of this planet. We know that water is abundant everywhere, but we don't know how to use this resource. I will be glad to share the electronic version of this presentation for them to learn more about this themselves, because I can talk about that for ages. I'm sure that the projects that you mentioned would become, if not the business, but a great starting point of working in for the continuation of your work. If Russia has something to offer, my suggestion is that we continue working. I'm perfectly glad to continue this discussion and to book a ticket to Qatar. Speaking about Qatar, this country is at the forefront of scientific and technological development in urban development, in quality of living. Unlike its countries, little is known about this. In this case, Qatar is a more liberated, more open market. Many people probably heard about the Qatar free zones in the United Arab Emirates, but probably you do not know about the free economic zones in Qatar. So I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, Director for Business Development of Qatar Free Zone, Mr. Hamad Abdulaziz Al Mohammadi. Could you please tell us what are Qatar Free Zones, what you are prepared to offer to Russian companies for them to invest in the Qatar economy, and how they would be able to get localized in the free economic zones of Qatar?
First of all, thank you for having me, Alexander. Just to make a small correction, I'm going to speak about Qatar Science and Technology Park, but not Qatar Free Zones, because it's a different area. I'm Ahmed Linazi from Qatar Science and Technology Park, the Planning and Strategic Initiatives Director. Now, Qatar and Russia have a long history of collaboration in various fields, including energy, trade, investment, culture, and as well as educational exchange. This collaboration has been beneficial for both countries and the economy of both countries. Now, the natural evolution of this collaboration is to have more interactions in applied research, technology development, and of course, innovation, which is a key priority towards achieving Qatar vision to become an advanced society and have sustainable and diversified economic growth. QSTP has been a regular participant in many events actually in Russia. One of them is the SNIF or St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. In 2021, we announced a partnership between QSTP and Sokolovo to boost the technology and start the startup economy ecosystems in both Russia and Qatar. QSTP is also a home for Rosneft International Center of Research and Development, which is a subsidiary of energy giant Rosneft. The center is engaging closely with the wider education city ecosystem in Qatar of Qatar Foundation, and the QSTP is part of that. Yeah. QSTP is also a home of and innovative agri-tech startups called V-Farm, which is led by Russian entrepreneurs. They are very active within the local innovation ecosystem and are developing innovative food security and sustainable related solutions locally here in Qatar. Okay. Now, in terms of the interaction tools QSTP can offer, you know that Qatar is a very welcoming and business-friendly destination. So with the innovation identified as a key priority and a clear strategy of research and development and innovation areas in energy, digital technology, health, and resource sustainability, there are significant interest to collaborate with the industry leaders around the world. And of course, Russia is one of those key leaders. QSTP is collaborating very closely with various stakeholders and play important role and, in the national ecosystem of technology development and innovation in Qatar. So this synergy makes it beneficial for international companies coming to Qatar as it helps making interaction and collaboration more streamlined. QSTP as a free zone, industry leading conglomerate. Okay, in addition to various tax incentives, companies can have access to infrastructure. You know that the QSTP is actually located in Qatar Foundation as well as world-class research facilities dedicate research in QSTP. Now, what can Russia give us to expand this collaboration in this area? Now, Russia strength in all these areas which we have mentioned earlier and have enough opportunities to collaborate with Qatar Science and Technology Park. We welcome Russian talent, tech entrepreneurs, businesses to establish their presence to benefit from our ecosystem. We would be happy to see Qatar-based also startups that we have here at USTP or any of other places in Qatar to explore the Russian market and to expand their businesses to the Russian market. Now, if in terms of the potential Russian partners that we are looking for actually in the QSTP, we are looking out actually for the long-term and active partnerships with technology companies and startups working in energy sector, sustainability like solar, agri-tech, water, digital technologies like AI, robotics, sensors, biomedical, health tech, and many other areas of tech innovation.
Спасибо большое.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammadi. It was a very interesting presentation of yours, and I think you opened up the veil, so to speak, when it comes to the opportunities that are there in terms of the QEZ participation. In the modern world, we encounter impressive progress when it comes to the new technologies that reprogrammed our lives, so to speak, and they keep changing the landscape of our future. So this trend is not limited to just one country or one region, both in Russia and elsewhere in the Middle East. The low-carbon transportation has been actively developed lately, and I know that, Your Highness, you are actively engaged in this developments in this area, industrial area, in the low-carbon transport segment. So basically, we're talking about e-transport, new energy, and other developments. Besides, countries focus more and more on the development of high-tech, IT, cybersecurity, augmented reality, and other tools. So in this light, I would like to give the floor to the next speaker, who is General Director of joint stock company Kama, the creator of the Russian e-car or e-vehicle, Atom, Igor. I'm happy to welcome you at this forum. Can we look at your project as a potential case of a Russian-Qatari cooperation in terms of low-carbon transport, low-carbon transportation? Is it possible to develop a high-tech innovation partnership between Russia and Qatar on the base of this project? Well, thank you very much. Can I get a clicker, please? So I'm a bit more dynamic in my presentation.
Да, действительно.
Yes, indeed. I'd like to start by saying that, in our view, such a project can be the driver of other industries and partnerships. We all know that the car industry has always been considered the industry that has the highest multiplication effect, a multiplier effect. For other industries, it covers the industries in just about every production step or production stage. A modern e-car or e-vehicle, it's not just an automotive industry, but it's also about additional industries, i.e., the digital platform, digital technologies, that are integral part of the modern e-car or e-vehicle. I would point out 5 reasons why, or 5 factors as to why such a project can become a flagship in terms of our bilateral relations, and why this project can become important as a multiplier for the other region, for other industries. The first factor is the competencies that are required to develop a modern e-car. It goes well beyond automotive industry or car making. So you see the logos here that reflect the expertise of our team members. You can tell. So in order to make a good modern e-car or e-vehicle, in addition to the automotive competencies, of course, you require experts in fintech, in AI, and augmented reality, virtual reality, and surprisingly, even in gaming, because these modern engines require gaming engines, imply that you need game dev experts, and so we have such people, we have such experts on our team. End of the day, you have this mixture of experts from diverse industries who are focused on this one and the only subject, which is not just an e-car, but rather a complicated gadget with high requirements as far as cybersecurity, information security, with rather stringent requirements to the development. And so this requires this joint work in terms of digital technologies as well as automotive technologies. The second factor implies that living in a modern megapolis, modern city, you need the so-called right tech, i.e., taxi and taxi aggregators, car sharing sector, car sharing, gig sharing, delivery, etc., and of course e-commerce, i.e., delivery, food delivery, last mile delivery. So these 3 industries are, in fact, the industries that form majority of the fabric of a modern city in any contemporary, in any advanced country. So in our project, we aim to develop an e-vehicle that is underpinned by these 3 right tech factors. Factors are urban mobility, which enables us to have additional competencies in the company beyond just the automotive, but rather in terms of mobility as a service. Of course, I'd like to point out the minimalist trend that Tesla treaded, and so this implies the development of voice management, voice control, augmented reality control. Any modern car has an augmented reality display. The next iteration will be the virtual VR, etc. So the next factor that enables us to look at this project as a bilateral development project is the platform-based technology. So we aim not just to create one in a single project and then move on with its import-exports, which is like the most simple, which is the simplest form of cooperation, but rather the platform base means that we build our e-vehicle based on our own e-vehicle platform, as well as our own proprietary information platform operating system. So both these platforms enable us, together with a local partner, to develop a product that would be the best fit for a particular country or particular region. This e-vehicle platform is developed by our own team, It's an internal team using our Russian partners, Kaspersky Lab, Rosatom, because this platform is is a connection between hardware and software. And so, of course, the digital platform that we call operating system Atom OS operating system is a joint development by the Kaspersky Lab as well as a number of other projects partners. Of course, we all understand that one of the key trends now is the driver assistance program with the transition to autonomous driving or driverless driving. We have a good team here that is working on it as part of our platform, our e-vehicle. Of course, the telematics service, i.e. communication between e-vehicles, the V2X technology, as well as the management of big data that are collected from our e-vehicles and enable us to create this highly efficient vehicle fleet management. In Russia, we are preparing for launching a serial manufacture, as part of a production facility that we selected. We have launched our prototype. We showcased that prototype at the Russian Expo, and we showcased it for some time now so people could see it. And now that this platform is ready, based on this platform, we're now ready to create subsequent products. Factors number 4 and number 5, you can see them on the last slide. Of course, number 1 is the high level of attention and support on the part of our government, on the part of the government of the Republic of Tatarstan. For the first time, we showcased our model at Kazan Forum last year. It was the first prototype, and now it's a finished product. It's basically a product ready for manufacturing. So at SIPR, we have been demonstrating our results we've been showcasing our progress again at this Digital Technology Expo. This Digital Technology Expo was chosen because half of the e-vehicle has to do with digital technologies and components. Number 2 is readiness and willingness of Russians to have our own domestic national e-vehicle. We see that because we have an ever-growing number of the community, as well as number of pre-orders, both by businesses and retail customers. We see this increased interest on the part of the youth. For example, at the youth expos or festivals, the one that was recently held in Sochi. So these 5 factors, again, if we go through them and briefly, support and great attention and effort, of course, the structured support by the government of the Russian Federation, as well as, of course, the interest on the part of our clients, high-tech platform-based solutions that we offer, and this unique set of competencies that are required to develop seemingly one product. So we have this image. This last slide demonstrates that a car, or Eve car that I showed you at the beginning, is then disassembled into, let's say, a number of components, both software and hardware, and it becomes an anchor project to develop next projects together. My question to you, Igor, is when you developed your e-vehicle, were you thinking about the charging, maybe wireless charging options? Yes, we have been working a lot with battery producers. Hydro is one of the partners that have made some progress, significant progress in terms of battery development. We see there's a number of new entrants in Russia when it comes to chargers and batteries. We see that the capacity goes up and charging time gets reduced. And like you mentioned, the induction charging is not a thing the future, we believe it'll be available very shortly, so that you don't need to spend to do anything on the part of the client. We see that Elon Musk, of course, was the pioneer to do it, and so sooner or later, we believe this technology will get evolved and developed more, as well as the technical advancement of the batteries themselves. Of course, we're talking about cells, battery cells that get advanced year on year. We're at the stage where everything grows exponentially, and technologies make a leap once every 2 to 3 years. Based on this recent Chinese car expo, we could see tremendous progress there. Thank you very much for your presentation. I can just say that in Qatar, whatever has to do with IT technologies and the developments, something that I could see for myself with my own eyes and based on my discussions. In Qatar, they pay a lot of attention to such projects. We believe this project could be very interesting to you. Potentially, this is 100% Russian development and Russian product. So the next speaker is the director of the development for strategic 3 economic zones of Qatar. I'd like to give him the floor.
Be here. Thank you for your invite. It's a profound honor to represent the Qatar Free Zone Authority at this distinguished webinar, a testament to robust and growth partnership between Russia and Qatar. The Free Zone been established since 2018, and we have embedded in an ambitious vision to become a permanent hub for international businesses and innovation. Strategically located across 3 continents, QFZA provides unparalleled access to global markets, fostered by its proximity to the award-winning Hamad International Airport and the state-of-the-art Hamad Port, the largest greenfield port in the world. At QFZA, we're very committed to facilitating a dynamic platform where businesses transcend traditional market boundaries. This is supported by the advancement of infrastructure and geographical positioning. So what do we offer to investors? We offer the whole host of the incentives, the standard incentives, including 100% foreign ownership, 0 custom duties and import, extensive tax holidays, and also incentives that are meticulously crafted to optimize ease of doing business and enhance profitability for our global investors. Sometimes we tailor fit specific investors. Today, we have over 500 investors. They range in businesses between offices, between manufacturing facilities, between logistical warehouse, logistical operations. We're definitely our focus, as I heard earlier from the panelists, on 3 main sectors, I would say. Logistics and transportation. So we're very focused on attracting investors that use the strategic location of the free zones to provide services and get the benefit of being close to Hamad Port and Hamad Airport. In that regard, we just announced yesterday FedEx is moving to us. We have also some GWC, Gulf Warehousing companies also operational within the free zone, and we work with them to tailor made solutions. The other sector we look at is technology sectors. We have a host of data centers that exist within the free zone and a host of attracting more data centers within the free zone. We think that this is one of the key factors in the future, and Qatar having a competitive electricity prices can be very competitive in that regard to host more of these types of operations to service not only the local market but also to host it. The other sector we look at is emerging technology. We look, and then especially in food tech and also in clean tech. So we have, for example, one of the hosted here is ABB, where they're doing the charging stations for all the electrical vehicles of Qatar. Muwasalat, the national company that responsible for all the taxis and general transportation in Qatar, has a full fleet of electrical buses, and then we're working with them also to kind of facilitate that and use Qatar Free Zone as a test bed for all of these economies. I invite each, and I wanted to explore how to partner up with Qatar Free Zone and transform the business and tap into limitless possibilities of the tomorrow, especially in the sectors that I mentioned, and especially we've talked previously to Russian companies, especially about food security project, food tech projects. We're very keen on R&D, any investment that have an R&D aspect that can benefit from being in Qatar and also develop solutions and near pilot projects that facilitate that for some of the investors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Continuing the topic that we started with, I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, Director for the Center of Environmental Project of the Presidential Academy. What is Russian science ready to offer to Qatar, and what is our cumulative experience? Well, thank you very much for allowing me to participate online in this event. So next time I will be on stage. So briefly, not to steal anybody's time, since Pavel Alexandrovich and Sergei Vladimirovich told a lot about the sixth agenda and about many things that we are able to do with the thing without which we cannot move on. One thing that we have to ask ourselves, what is science nowadays? And the answer is there are 500 definitions, but none of them is precise. Until the end of the 20th century, science was trying to understand what is nature and to give a definition to various phenomena in nature. Starting in the early 21st century, science is doing the things which are non-existent in Russia. Even though the climatic agenda is still important, it is still interesting, and as Sergei Vladimirovich said, despite the complicated political landscape, there are still some directions in which cooperation has to be, needs to be extended and expanded. Speaking about halal tourism, I would like to add one thing. I would like to say that the resort complexes of Russia are unique in the entire world. And this is not a supposition. It is an assertion that there are specific problems in expanding this cooperation with the Republic of Turkey, with China, with India, for example. Nevertheless, we still manage to find common ground to develop cooperation in these areas as well. And there is quite a large number of plans and plans that are going to be discussed on the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. We are expecting to sign some agreements. We do have a number of agreements, including agreements with Qatari universities, with Presidential Academy, with Moscow State University, so we can move on from the theory to practical work. Usually, students on the second year at applied physics, they say, enough with the theory. Give us a Hadron Collider and we'll show you the real science at the moment. Fundamental science is good, but there is quite a number of existing projects in the starting phase that we can start implementing the day before yesterday, so to speak, that we can start working with our inventions, which are so plentiful that we can hardly find the time to implement them. We speak about AI, we speak about cybersecurity. This is This is a set of things which comes with us from the previous century. Probably one of the best institutes in the Russian Academy of Science, the Institute of Systemic Programming. Again, despite the complicated political things, it keeps developing cooperation with Korea, with Japan, with some other countries. So I would say I am ready to book a ticket to Qatar. Probably it will take place after the St. Pete Economic Forum. And I'm going to take a group of advanced scientists from IT, from medicine, from biotech, and fly to Qatar and start thinking where we can implement that without waiting for tomorrow. So this is it in a nutshell. Thank you, Maxim Sergeyevich. I understand what you referred to, and I'll just say a couple of words to the same effect. It just seems to me that many of things that are being implemented in Russia, things that we Russians consider our everyday living, are simply not known worldwide. When we speak about treatment in resorts, I think our Qatar colleagues simply do not grasp fully the concept of what we speak about. But that's not their problem, that's our problem. We haven't been very active in raising awareness about what these things are, about advertising them. Nevertheless, it will be a good thing to show our colleagues what this is. And this is a proposal from the chairman of the government of the Russian Federation, by the way. When we implement treatment, when we design the hotel complex in Doha, and Doha is a fantastic city, very modern and yet very sophisticated. Doha bets on comfortable staying and comfortable rest in this megalopolis. So when building new hotel complexes, when implementing the technologies of sanitarium and resort treatment, the average bill may grow from $200 to $1,500. So the profitability of this project is growing severalfold. But these things need to be shown, they need to be spoken about, and one more thing, this is improvement of the quality of life of people. It's a lot of treatment, a lot of prevention, and a lot of comfortable time to be spent, quality time to be spent. We'll tell all about that, and we'll invite our Qatari colleagues to participate in the St. Pete Economic Forum, where we'll have much more opportunities to show everything in more detail. There will be many more representatives of Russian business and Russian government. They will come back from China, and we will be able to have full-scale one-to-one meetings. Next point is connected with the development of IT. The Institute of Applied Mathematics, to which Maxim Sergeyevich referred to, it's a unique institution within the structure of the Russian Academy of Science. Maxim Safonov is the deputy president of the Russian Academy of Science, so he knows what he refers to. So based on this center, we are doing all the developments of software complexes, let's say for Samsung, which is Apple's biggest competitor. Despite the political complications, our mathematical center still continues to operate and cooperate, and the average salary of scientists is the highest there among all other structures of the Russian Academy of Science. That's nice money, regardless of the currency we speak about. the contribution this institution makes in the development of the global international giants is highly substantial. So I think we will need to showcase these achievements to our guests. I would like to start bringing our business dialogue to a close. We have had a good piece of work behind us. We have spoken about what we're doing. It was very interesting to listen to the opinion of representatives of Qatar, a beautiful, highly interesting country. And I would say that it's a country which is quite close to the Russian mentality of understanding the cultural and the human values. Business aside, it's very important for people to position themselves. If our values are close and if our values coincide, specifically when it comes to such institution as a family, then it is a very sound foundation to do some things together. Our next point is related to Russia and Qatar being highly respectful to one another. And I think that this is one of the most important foundations for our continued cooperation and our mutual prosperity. So in the end of my closing speech, I would like to thank all of the participants of today's session. But in the very end, I would like to say that Russia sees prospects of good long-term relations with Qatar. We regard our Qatar counterparty as our friends and reliable colleagues. Thank you, and may success attend you.